Welcome back, Liverpool fans. So, a lot of English Premier League football fans are really in their feelings about what a great offseason Liverpool has had, right? And it's kind of funny because, last year going into the season, they were saying Liverpool has no money, but we're still going to win the league. And that's exactly what we did, right? And that was telling you about Liverpool's history of not really spending on the level of Chelsea's, Arsenal, Man U, Man City, right? We were up there competing, but never really spending at the same level as those teams. This year, based on the fact that we've made profit, we haven't overspent, we had money in the coffer, and they went for the players that they want. And historically, that's the one thing Liverpool did do. When they saw players they wanted, they went for them. If they could get them, they spent the money. Didn't matter how much. They spent the money to get the player they wanted to fit into their system. Whether that was Alisson, whether that was, Van Dijk, or whoever it may have been. Liverpool consistently has done that. They even offered $100 million for the guy that Chelsea ended up taking off of us from Brighton, right? So they showed you that if the right player was available, they did not mind spending money. They obviously were offering big money to the Real Madrid player, both Bellingham and the other French player that went to them for midfield, because they wanted those players. They couldn't beat Real Madrid to get them, but they were willing to spend. It's just the player wasn't willing to go there, right? In this summer, we've gotten the players we wanted. We still have money, and literally you're selling Nunez to Saudi Arabia apparently, and going to get back almost all the money we spent to get Nunez originally, because Nunez is still young, only 24. So he's got a long career ahead of him. And he's still one of my favorite players on Liverpool, so I wouldn't have minded if we kept him. But they are going in a different direction. They're getting almost all their money back. What a coup. But yet people are upset about that. But we've seen other teams do the exact same thing, whether it was Man City or Chelsea, sell players and get big returns because they went to the Middle East, right? Obviously, we've seen many opportunities where teams have done that, and this is Liverpool's opportunity to do that. Obviously, there was talk about us sending Salah to the Middle East and getting paid like $150 million. That never unfolded because we never wanted to get rid of Salah. But now we're getting rid of Nunez and bringing in players that fit the system better. And people are really in their feelings. And the irony is, it's not like those other teams aren't spending. How much money did Man City spend in the winter transfer window? They spent a shitload of money. And now they spend a shitload of money in the summer transfer as well. You put all that money together, I think it's more money than Liverpool has spent so far this summer. You look at Chelsea. Chelsea spent what? Like $1 billion they ended up spending when they got that new ownership in, buying fucking literally everybody. But because it's Chelsea, people know they always do that. They always have done it. So people don't overreact to it. But so they're allowed to spend as much money as they want, buy two midfielders, basically steal one of them from Liverpool. And so Liverpool is doing the exact same thing now to Newcastle. Surprise, surprise. Karma is a bitch. Man U consistently spent $80 million here and $80 million there on attacking wings, whether it was Sancho, the kid from the Netherlands, and a bunch of other players that never really panned out, right? But they didn't mind spending big money for these players. They did. Arsenal has spent a shitload of money this year. They're literally buying fucking everybody, right? They're putting as much money into their team as Liverpool is putting into their team. They bought a new midfield. They bought like two forwards, and it looks like they're going to get a third forward as well. Same as Liverpool, right? They've really spent a lot of money to improve their squad. And obviously last year they spent a lot of money. They bought the left back and quite a few other players as well. So, they've not been shy of spending money. The problem is most people felt they should have spent some of that money last year to get a striker. like Tony would have been a great addition to the team, I thought, but they didn't move in that direction, and then they ended up losing this year because of injuries and just not being able to score. Going into this year, I think it's going to be a fantastic year. And well, you got teams like Newcastle and Tottenham that are going to be good. Maybe West Ham, right? Maybe Man U. Man U's done some great off-season buys, right? And you know, I expect them to be better this year. Obviously, Mount is back as well, so their midfield is going to be far more creative and far better as well. So don't be surprised if Man U plays much better as well. So this year, I definitely think it's going to be a fun league. The teams are really good. It's deep, right? But obviously, I think the top 4 teams are going to be Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal, and Chelsea. And then you have the other teams that are going to be pushing them from behind. But any of those 4 teams could win. Chelsea beat PSG in that tournament in the US. They look great. They've just added players, and they're apparently adding more players before the season's over as well. More attackers. I mean, Jesus Christ. They never stop spending, Chelsea. Liverpool with a whole new sort of addition to a bunch of players, wings, and obviously a great midfielder down the middle, and then a whole new crop of fucking attacking forwards. Whew! Liverpool is going to be better than they were last year, as long as injuries don't become an issue. Man City, obviously with Rodri back and all the additions they've added to the team, right? A lot of youth, a lot more speed. They should be a far more entertaining team and do far better than they did last year. Obviously, losing Rodri was a big loss to them. And, you know, obviously, Haaland wasn't nearly as effective last year because he didn't have that strong core down the middle to really sort of give him the balls he needs to be successful. Arsenal, I mean, right now, the way they're moving, I easily see them as the second best team. But that doesn't mean Man City or Chelsea potentially couldn't upset the apple cart, because, as I said, all 4 teams look fantastic. And it's ironic that everyone is mostly focused on Liverpool, upset about Liverpool being successful and spending a lot more money than they usually do. Yet, when we look at all those other teams that are in contention, they all spend a shitload of cash. And they're all spending a shitload of cash as well. They're competing. They've all been profitable, and they're putting that profit back into the team, which is great for fans of those teams, because what's not to like? If I was an Arsenal fan, I'd be super stoked about the moves they've made this summer. Man City as well. I imagine that people really feel that they are going to potentially win this year and get back to where they were. And Chelsea, I mean, that new manager they have and the way he cleaned out that roster to get rid of a lot of the dead wood, just to bring in his own players and push his system, it really seems to be benefiting as well, right? And who knows with Man U, obviously they have a new manager as well. They've added new players. It'll be interesting to see how they improve going into next year as well. Newcastle, obviously they're potentially going to lose Isaac, but they're bringing in new people as well, and they still have the same core, the same depth that they always had. Solid midfield, solid back line. You know, they just have to be able to continue to score up front. And with the new additions that they're probably bringing in, I mean, they may actually be more versatile and not be only one man heavy like they were last year and the year before. So I'm excited. And as a Liverpool fan, I mean, let the good times roll, baby. Let the good times roll. I mean, as a Liverpool fan, it's about fucking time that we had something to celebrate. It's about time that ownership made us proud and spent money to reinforce the squad and put out the kind of squad where people could be in their emotions the way they are. You know, as a Liverpool fan, I'm happy to see all the haters and all the pundits in their feelings, because it's about fucking time. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you think that what Liverpool is doing is so wrong, even though what they're doing is basically competing with the other top teams in the English Premier League? But let me know what you think. What team do you support, and how's their transfer window going?